What exactly makes utility boxes like these so attractive for thieves?
People usually come in for cute cats like this.
The same work bringing residents one step closer to a new transit option is also creating roadblocks. Is soil like this rid of the harmful chemicals and substances released from the lab? Pick up your phone and you'll find the answer. Digital coupons. The winter-spring racing season is in full swing. Check out my full segment on the Valley View News YouTube channel. Olvera Street is hosting its annual Dia de los Muertos Festival. The 9-day event celebrates the cycle of life and Latino culture.
George, are we in for another crazy week?
Don't worry, guys. Yes, you can put those umbrellas away because it's actually going to be nice out this week.
Connections and community ties will have to be enough to begin rebuilding what was lost. From Altadena, I'm George Sakers for the Sundial. You hear all the stories about copper wire thefts around the city, but what exactly makes utility boxes like these so attractive for thieves?
In the past year, thieves have hit Miracle Mile, the 6th Street Bridge, and other popular areas in the city, leaving many streets in the dark and raising pedestrian safety concerns. Many of them target vulnerable pedestrian infrastructure, like streetlights and utility vaults. Copper has significantly risen in value. The material can sell for over $4 a pound, making even small amounts worth the risk.
What began as a citywide infrastructure issue is now creeping into residential neighborhoods. A recent arrest here in Mission Hills is leaving residents frustrated and concerned about the rising trend.
While the police were on their way, we were watching them pulling these materials and hacking them, like sawing them and tossing them in the back of their trunk.
Footage provided by the Perez family shows a group of men dressed in hoodies in front of their home. 2 of the suspects have been booked under grand felony charges and 2 remain at large. In response to the alarming rise in thefts, city leaders are making the issue a top priority.
We continue to deploy additional money behind overtime for repair. It's very frustrating, and sadly, it's not just in my district.
Governor Gavin Newsom recently signed AB 476 into law. The bill enforces stricter guidelines for copper resellers, many of whom unknowingly buy stolen wire. They're now required to keep detailed records of sellers, including multiple forms of ID and verification.
While it's too early to tell what impact AB 476 will have on thieves, city officials hope it will keep them away long enough to turn the lights back on. From Van Nuys City Hall, I'm George Sakers for Valley View News. I'm standing at one of the entrances of the Santa Susana Field Lab. Closed to the public, the site has been a source of controversy for residents, community advocates, and local governments. A recent push by advocates to turn the land into public park space is sparking a new debate. Is soil like this rid of the harmful chemicals and substances released from the lab?
Once the site of nuclear testing and rocket engine development, today the land is primarily owned by Boeing, which is also responsible for cleaning the hazardous area. NASA and the Department of Energy also share responsibility for their respective portions. Boeing says it has already set aside over 2,000 acres of the area for permanent open space habitat. The aerospace giant says cleanup efforts are already underway, but critics say oversight is lacking from California's Department of Toxic Substances Control.
Essentially, the systemic incentives get turned around, and the people who staff these agencies over time begin working to protect those very entities that they're supposed to be regulating.
Rocket engine testing released toxic solvents into the environment, and in 1959, one of the 10 nuclear reactors on site suffered a partial meltdown, releasing radioactive gases and contaminating surrounding areas. Residents and parents like Melissa Bumstead, who runs Parents Against Santa Susana Field Lab, argue the current cleanup plan will not go far enough to rid the environment of dangerous chemicals.
So we are suing the Department of Toxic Substances Control. We're hoping that if we win, we can fight Boeing's plans to leave 90% behind and go back to the original cleanup agreements that would have made it safe enough where you could even eat the food you grew there.
Residents and community members hope those responsible will take the necessary steps to complete a full and thorough cleanup of the area. From the Santa Susana foothills, I'm George Sakers for Valley View News.
With the first anniversary of the Eaton fire approaching, Altadena residents are working hard to rebuild. But with only a few of the thousands of homes actually rebuilt, community members are left wondering whether the support they need will truly arrive.
The remains of the massive blaze still line many streets. Some lots have been cleared while others remain unchanged since the fire. Some lucky homeowners have been able to rebuild, however many others have faced challenges. from permitting delays and insurance disputes to contractor licensing issues and strict safety regulations. Through it all, the Altadena Town Council has worked to ensure residents have the resources and assistance needed in the rebuilding process.
The council's biggest priority probably is getting back on track. So we immediately moved into crisis management, disaster recovery and rebuilding. So I think that what the council will focus on mostly is the way we use the land up here and any land use issues that come before the council as we look to rebuild and reimagine what Altadena is going to look like.
While community groups have led the charge in aid distribution, residents remain frustrated at insurance companies in California Edison, who have not come through with emergency funding. The effects have trickled down to homeowners, many of whom have had to think outside the box just to keep living day to day.
Many families have relied on RVs and trailers as interim housing, a stopgap solution while they wait to rebuild. Residents are still holding out for the much-needed emergency funding requested from state officials, including affordable housing protections and community stabilization programs. Nearly a year after the fire, those resources remain stalled, leaving families in limbo and neighborhoods dotted with rubble.
We're at what used to be my house of 10 years here at the top of Altadena on Loma Alta, and we're in my front yard. I hope that, first of all, that people are able to stabilize and find a home and to continue the deep roots that have been here for a long time. Secondly, that we learn to live, with the fire danger and at the edge of nature, that we learn some of the lessons and we kind of evolve from it.
Signs of rebuilding progress are emerging. As of late 2025, LA County Recovers reports 1,307 rebuild applications have been filed, 138 permits have been issued, 15 homes are under construction, and several families have already moved back into certified rebuilt homes.
I would say resilience looks like businesses that are open and thriving, homes that are under construction, and families that are returning back to Altadena.
Residents remain hopeful they will receive the much-needed aid they have requested. Until then, connections and community ties will have to be enough to begin rebuilding what was lost. From Altadena, I'm George Sagers for the Sundial.